Shri Gurave Namaha Yasya Kadapi Vasanancha Lakhelanotha Dhanyadi Dhanya Pavanena Kritarthamani Yogindra Durgamagatir Madhusudanopi Tasya Namostu Vrishabhanubhuvo Dishepi. We should understand why we are attached to this material world, to understand how we can be detached from it. As I told you before, that if we consider ourselves as the body, automatically the self seeks pleasure from the material world. And the more it gets the pleasure from the material world, it gets attached to it, which is called as moha. From kama, it gradually leads to moha, the attachment to the material world. And the question of detachment comes, why should we be detached from this material world? We should be detached from this material world because we are thinking that this material world gives us pleasure, but ultimately it is giving us misery. So when we realize this, that in this material world we are thinking that there is happiness, but all our endeavors to relish, get pleasure from this material world is ultimately leading to three kinds of miseries that we have mentioned before. And we have also understood that the real happiness or bliss is in loving God. So now, how can we detach ourselves from this material world? And how can we develop attachment for the God? It is all based on the knowledge of who we are. If we consider ourselves as the Atma, automatically the object of relish for the Atma is God. And if we consider ourselves as the body, since the object of pleasure is the material nature, automatically we will be attached to it. So based on this knowledge, first we have to accept, following the teachings of Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, that we are not this body and we are the Atma. And then by trying to develop our attachment for the God, by constantly meditating on His pastimes of love, we develop attachment for Him. And when we meditate on the potency of the material nature to give us misery, that there is no happiness in this material world, and when we realize that there is only misery in this material world, gradually we will develop detachment from this material world. So we should make this constant practice of realizing, bringing to awareness the misery giving nature of the material world and the bliss giving nature of the God. And then by trying to practice to detach ourselves by focusing on the God, try to remove our mind from the material nature and trying to focus it on the love of the God, we gradually develop the detachment.